So, Masters, a very, very happy morning and a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for attending today's session. And so, Masters, every day, every time I come, I just want to pick up a new topic that we all could relate in our day-to-day life, where we all could apply into our day-to-day life, and it makes our everyday living more easy and more happy. That's the only thing, the intention around taking these concepts as. So I was wondering what to speak today, and I came across this few points shared by a master on the concept of emotional stability. So today I want to talk on that topic and share with you, and discuss along with you. I want everyone to please listen it, apply it, or try to relate it in your day-to-day life and speak out, so that every other person also understands how they are working with themselves. So it's a beautiful method of sharing that helps or enhances the other person's journey also. So the whole intention on today's topic is that. So today we are going to talk about emotional stability. So what is this emotional stability? It looks more like a fancy word, but it's as simple as when you divide, there are two words you see, that is emotion and stability. So it defines in itself. So basically, emotional stability is the capacity to maintain one's emotional balance at ease under stressful circumstances. That is the meaning of that word. So we know that we are basically bodies having emotions. Our body responds to emotions. So all the emotions, when you see that word emotion, every day when you see your everyday living, the moment you get up from the bed till the time you sleep back and you stop your conscious mind, we are run by emotions. We are basically run by emotions. So we need to understand this word emotion. So when you see that this word emotion, the word how it is curated is that it depicts this, it comes from this Latin word which called as motere, which means something that has to move, that needs to be put into action. That is the meaning of the word emotion. So we need to understand that emotions are the primary source of human energy. Emotions are our energy, because these emotions are that energy that helps us to drive our everyday living, that helps us to aspire to greater things in our life. Emotions are those things, that energy, it is that energy that activates our innermost feelings. It defines our purpose in life. There are so many things that emotions does to us. So one needs to be completely aware, and one needs to understand one's emotions. That is the first thing any person should do when they try to work on themselves. Emotion is nothing but energy in motion. That is what it is said. It is an energy that has to be set into motion. And that motion, if it is not set out properly, then it's like all over the place. It creates so much havoc in our life that it messes up everything. In today's time, we find a creeping sense of emotions that are going out of control in the society that we are living. Everyday news, just you turn on the news channel and you will see the havoc our society is going through. There is civil unrest, there is safety issues, there are murders, there are impulses running everywhere. No one is ready to have a normal discussion. Everyone is trying to be opinionated, and everyone should listen the other person's opinion. That's the problem. There is an outburst of emotions everywhere, taking up from a kid in a small school, till the everyday debates that we see everywhere. There is recklessness, there is malice growing everywhere. There is distrust. And we'll also observe that there is a quantum leap in the number of depression cases every other year. People are like depressed. They don't even recognize that they are depressed. Everyone is there is a surging tide of aggression everywhere. People are always in anger for everything and anything. And all these are happening because as an individual, we are not understanding our emotions and we are lacking that knowledge on how to work with that energy in ourselves, that emotion. No matter what educational degree the person holds or whatever stature the person is in the society, irrespective of the finances or the whatever the power that they hold, doesn't matter. Whatever the stature the person is in the society, emotional instability or immaturity is existing everywhere. Everyone is going through this problem in one or other points in their life. If not at work, then they might have been facing that issue with family life or vice versa. Anyway, there's not one place that they are not going through that. It might be both the places or it might be one of the place definitely. So emotional instability or immaturity points to an individual's, what do you mean by that? It is opposite to emotional stability that we have been talking to. So what do you mean by this emotional immaturity? It is nothing but it points to that individual's failure to develop the degree of independence or being self-reliant on his or her own decisions, on his or on her own thoughts. Immature with respect to the adjustive patterns, inability to maintain equilibrium, maintain a stasis, maintain a composure under stress. Emotionally disturbed or unstable individual, when you see that person, that person is lacking capacity to work with the problems that are coming into his everyday life. He doesn't know how to tackle his everyday problems. There is a lot of irritability, a lot of anger. They need motivation every day to accomplish even small day-to-day tasks. They are very, vulnerable. They just keep on crying everywhere, anywhere for no reason. They don't even understand. And yet they are very stubborn. And they always want sympathy, people to feel sympathetic about them, because they always keep on pointing at other person that it is because of you, my life is like this. It is because of you, I'm whatever the situation right now. So they are excessive, and they are also, you see, this narcissistic people who are excessively proud about themselves. They also are emotionally immature. People who always want to pick up a quarrel, people who are always self-centered, people who are always demanding. They have a lot of demands. They need a lot of attention for themselves. They have always crave that attention. Everything, all these are many of the few qualities I'm telling of a person who is emotionally unstable and who is emotionally immature. So emotionally stable person, when you see this kind of a person, this person has a tolerance ability to take care of everyday minor stresses and strains that happen in everyday day-to-day living. We all go through stresses. We all go through some kind of situations that alerts us, that puts us into an alert mode. That is common. But they do it without being emotionally upset. They're not anxious while doing that. They're not nervous while attending to that situation. They're not tense. They're not angry. They're able to maintain composure under this kind of situations. Even though sometimes they go away, they might be going through that emotional outburst, they're very, very quickly to come back to that state of balance, which is very important. So the unstable person, on the other hand, is subject to, fairly wide or there is so much mood shifts that happen with that person. It might be from one pole to another pole. One day is happy and immediately within 2 hours, they're like crying or they're like angry, or we don't know what's happening with that person because the person himself doesn't know what type of emotion is being projected out. So emotional stability enables the person to develop an integrated and a balanced way of perceiving the problems of life that we go through. It is that ability and that perception that a person will develop, which helps him to get an understanding on what to think, what to decide, what not to decide, how to judge things for their own good. That evaluation ability for taking right decisions for themselves at that particular situation is being very, very stabilized in that person. And we need to understand that in this age of industrialization, in this age of competition, stress and tension, to understand how do we bring that emotional stability into an everyday life is very, very imperative, and it's foremost that every person who should know even before they learn whatever ABCDs I would say. Because we need to first identify, even before you try and understand, your emotions first, to understand how to bring stability with respect to your emotions. First and foremost, every exercise that everyone should do from this moment is that we need to identify our stressors in our life. What are the things that are causing stress in our life? Only and if you identify what thing, what person, what situation, what event, or even a memory is responsible to bring that imbalance in emotion, which is causing that stress, which is that stressor. If you identify that, then only you will know how to work on it to bring that emotional stability into your life. Unless and until you don't do that, you won't know where to start. You don't know how to work. For an example, if a person is traveling to an airport, there is a 3-hour time for him to catch the flight. And suddenly he sees there is a traffic jam that's building up on the road. Now he becomes very anxious that, the thoughts keep on running now. Slowly, one or the other thought will start rising, that he might miss the flight if this traffic jam is going to extend for some more time. Or what happens if he misses the flight? What if there is no other flight available? Where will he sleep? Where will I sleep? Whether I'll get a hotel or not. So all these things are popping up in that person's mind just because of that little small traffic jam. Here, that person needs to identify that this traffic jam is making me anxious. It is a stress that is creating so much havoc in my emotions. I'm not stable with my emotions. I'm imbalanced in my emotions. So like that, there are many, many stresses for each one of us. It's not same for every person. So first we need to identify those stressors to bring that emotional stability into our life. Emotional stability is a big deal and also a very tough thing to get handle on, because it can't be done if it's not practiced. That's the only thing. Practice, practice, practice. Our emotions sometimes in certain situations always look much bigger than who we really are. And many people lack the coping skills necessary for them to keep those emotions under bay at that particular time. So today, there are many, many skills. One important and the foremost thing is your everyday meditation, which will stabilize your thought process and your energies. It will keep you more centered and balanced. But we are not in a closing our eyes and sitting in that posture for the rest of 24 hours. We are going out, we are exposing ourselves to different situations, different stressors every day. So how do we tackle in those situations? When we are wide awake among people, among situations, handling things in our everyday life. So today we will talk about a few things that can help you make your life more emotionally stable. We need to understand these things, and we need to see if we are stuck with these things. We need to have a broader perspective to these things and move away from these things, or try to change those things. The first one is unsubscribe to urgency culture. Unsubscribe from this urgency culture. So what is this urgency culture? Urgency culture is the idea basically that we are always in demand 24/7, just like an ATM machine. You're always in demand. I'm available 24/7 for everyone, everything, all the time. Most of the people are doing like that to themselves. This might be with respect to your work culture or with everyday relationships, be it your friends, your family, anyone, your spouse, or your children. or your parents, anyone. You have to be available 24/7. Doesn't matter. Here we need to put some space and see that when it comes to work, is it necessary for me to text right now immediately? Is it necessary for me to send an email immediately? Is it necessary for me to pick that call? That person is calling right now. Do I need to answer that call right now? What is my emotional status? Am I good to talk? So check it with yourself first. Are you in a place to respond now? Are your energies right? If you are not, then don't respond. Respond only when you are feeling to do it. This urgency culture or being available to the other person or the work that you're doing continuously is basically burning out people left and right, and people are not even recognizing that. It is very, very imperative now that we have to get a very clear understanding that we need to set boundaries around our work life and relationship balance. We need to decide for ourselves where to draw the line. No one will tell that. We ourselves have to do that, because it's your emotion. No one knows what you're going through. So it is very important that we need to decide that we need to draw a line. Doesn't matter. It might be your spouse in the same house. You will discuss only when you are available, emotionally ready to talk for that thing. Doesn't matter. Because you have to give priority to yourself, to your emotions, to your state of mind at that time. So draw that boundary and be strict with it and safeguard yourself. Because when you're right, then the outcome that comes from that particular conversation will also be right. The second one is get comfortable saying no. Learn to regularly say no to things. Some people do it very easily, but for me, it was a big challenge. I couldn't say no to things. I was unable to say no to things. So what happens then if you don't say no to things? You will be doing some work which you are not readily available, because you are not emotionally readily available, and that will drain your energy because you could not say no. And you will be doing some things which you are not feeling inspired. I have no interest on it, but still you have to do it because you couldn't say no to that person. And you are doing things which are not priority at that moment for you. All these things are creating havoc, right? It's creating, you are not able to say no because you are not enjoying that work, because it's not a priority to you, and it is creating an emotional instability in you. We need to understand that a fulfilled person, a person who knows what to do, who knows about himself or herself inside and out very clearly, have clear boundaries. They know that they can't do it because they are not inspired to do it. They are not ready to do it. That particular work is their not priority right now. So it's very, very important that you need to say no. The third one is don't make assumptions. We need to first accept this one thing, that we are all amazing storytellers. We might not accept it, but we are, because we keep on creating so beautiful stories in our minds about other people's intentions. Now it's an other thing. If you are a master in telepathy, that's another thing. But we keep on manufacturing new stories every second, and none of it's true. It is your version, that it is not what's happening in the other person's mind. As I said, if you're not telepathic, then I'm sorry, you're always true. So if you're wondering why so-and-so person didn't talk to you that day, or why he did not pick your call, or why he did not message you, or why she did not invite you for a party, or any doubt that is lingering in your mind, stop making assumptions. Stop creating these beautiful stories in your mind. Restore that courage and go call up or message or ask, confront the person in a nice, loving, amicable way, and clear the doubt and move on from there. So don't make assumptions. This is very easily done actually, but we don't do it. So clear that air and just be happy, and don't carry that heavy energy of unnecessary thoughts in your mind. The other one is speak your needs. This is another important thing which follows up with this, don't make assumptions. Again, except for people with amazing telepathic abilities, Many of us, what we do is that it happens between husband and wife, between parents, between children, between your friends, between the colleagues in your office, everywhere. Many of us expect people to be, to know that what you're thinking, the other person should know. You should know it. We need to understand here is that people can't understand what we need or what we are thinking until we openly tell them. Communication is essence here. Even though a husband and wife might be married for 50 long years, until and unless if you don't communicate, you don't speak out what is running in your mind, what do you want, what do you don't want, the other person won't understand, period. So try to develop that communication with people around. Speak. It might be very difficult, but start somewhere. Don't. People are living in the same houses with so thick walls between them that the other person don't know what the other person truly is, because there is no communication skill. The problem here is that it is the assumption the person makes. If I want to speak to other person, I want to communicate, what if he judges me, what if he thinks wrong about me? So we keep on having our own versions of stories. It's very important that between two persons, the communication is very important. The space needs to be given for the two persons to communicate properly. So always speak your needs. First you start speaking, then we'll listen about the results. Then we'll understand what how and why the other person is reacting, or if it's understanding, if it's not understanding, that's a different story. But first you try to speak. The other one is find ways to give back. Giving back does not only count monetary or financial benefits. It can be, if you are not able to do that, you can do the service by giving your time to just listening to someone, or time to get some things done. Use your skill set, use your power wherever it's needed rightfully. Serving, or the sense of service, heals a person in many ways. It can be felt only when it is done. You do it and you will feel it. Spend time in nature. Enjoy the time in the beautiful creation of this cosmos. Enjoy that sun, enjoy those trees, those breeze, rejoice, because they say when you are in nature, you are automatically healed. There's so many beautiful things out there. There's so much positive energy that stabilizes your energy. So the more nature travel that you will do, you yourself will feel. There is no explanation, or don't try to understand rationally. You just feel it. The nature does a lot of healing. And always learn, which is very, very important, is to learn to regulate your emotions. That is, stop this old habit patterns of reacting, but rather be aware of your emotions. Whenever an emotion is coming up, be it happiness, be it greed, be it jealousy, be it anger, assimilate the emotion first. Feel that emotion. Take some time, feel it. First, completely feel it. Then take a pause, understand why it is coming, and then respond. And this will only come through everyday rigorous practice. There is no other short-term solution for it. You have to feel every emotion that is coming up. You have to understand why it is coming up, what is the trigger there, and then respond accordingly. Understand it and respond, and practice this whole mechanism every day. You might not be aware of it 24/7, but at least try and practice it whenever you are aware. So when you keep on doing it, you are automatically breaking your old habit pattern. So practice is the key here. And every day, dedicate some time every week for some time in your work, because you might be working. So give some time every week and work on your passion. This is very, very must. Turn off your phone. Don't look at the time. Just go to your room. Just say to your loved ones that you need the time for yourself for this 30 minutes or 45 minutes every day. And just do some once in a week. Just do something which might be your passion or any skill. Just do it. You don't need to master it, or you're not showing off to get an applause for it. Just close the doors, sing a song, dance, draw something, try to write a poetry, try to learn some song or some poetry or whatever. Write a short story. do some art, whatever you do, you're liking, bring out your creative side and try to explore it. It's very, very important. So having emotional stability, there are many ways that you can do, but start somewhere. And I felt that these are some things that if you can work on, it will show very, very possible effects. And I can feel it. I did it and I could feel it. I'm selling it through my own experience. So having emotional stability can prevent you from, drowning in negative thoughts. And instead it will give you a positive outlook and hope for any situation that you go through in your everyday life. So this is something which I want to share with respect to emotional stability, few understandings. So masters, any of you please come out and speak how you're bringing that emotional stability into your everyday life. Would love to hear from all of you. Thank you. Yeah, masters, anyone. Yeah, Vindya ma'am.
Thank you, Ravli ma'am. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Vindya ma'am.
Sorry I joined a few minutes late, but I still got what you were telling, all the points, and I was trying to jot it down. Thank you. Very nice. And actually, it reminded me of, again, the 4 agreements part of it, like, don't make assumptions, that part. And yes, learning to say no, that is a problem for me too. I'm practicing. It is hard for me. I don't know how to say no. It is only after trying to, after listening to self-love and, heal yourself and those kind of books, I am trying to say it, give priority to myself and say no when it is something that I can't do, because otherwise people take you, it's not that they intend to, but it's just like, when you keep giving, they keep taking, and you need to know your limits and that boundaries that you set to, have. I've never set boundaries. I guess I keep thinking I can do everything. It is so, it's like, just whatever, however much I can do, I felt like I could keep doing, but it later on affects me. So it is nice to pre-plan before and have those boundaries set and do it. Assumptions too, your examples, you were saying so true. Every time someone doesn't give a call back or something, I tend to do that too. I assume, or maybe they're upset with me. Maybe what I said yesterday, it has affected them or something. And which is not the 90% of the time, it's not true. But like you said, I keep thinking I have that sixth sense or something that is telling me, that intuition, that this is what is happening, that I'm good at reading people. But I think it hurt me more than helped me. So thank you. And being creative, yes, that is, and following your passion, that has helped me a lot. Whenever I don't do it as much as I should, but it helps me take off my mind of all this and energize me again. And meditation, you should add meditation too, definitely, always. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vindya ma'am. Beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, masters, please do speak up. Anything you want to share, how you're dealing with your everyday emotional stability part? How is it working for you? Would love to listen, learn from you also. Anything you can share. Yeah, Anita ma'am.
Yeah, Ravli ma'am, thank you for the topic today. I was trying to put the points together, that how to share. That is why it was taking longer time. Not yet done so, but still, maybe it will be a little random talk. My talk will not be in
No problem.
sequence.
Just speak out, Nita. I will love to listen.
Yeah, there are actually number of emotions we come across. It is not just one. As Vrindavan was saying, that is one foremost thing when somebody doesn't reply to you, when somebody is not answering to you, you feel that the person is ignoring you. You don't want, he doesn't want to talk to you. But I have myself observed many times. We ourselves do that. That we have our own limitations about something. That is why we are not able to respond to somebody else in the way they expect it to be. So whenever such situations arise, I think about myself. What did I do at certain times? So the other person could be in the same situation. Not it is about me. So he might be in a situation that he is not able to respond the way I wanted. So that is one thing that I remind myself about it. And other thing is, yes, people many times uh, tell us that they are not means their expectations about us are not met. So these are the situations where somebody wants you to react in some manner, but we are not able to react. Sometimes we are forced. So these times, these places, I'm really confused that we are not. They want us to pretend, but maybe sometimes I feel yes, maybe we have to pretend. Like I am the person who will not immediately go on appreciating, not go on talking to someone. I am like only when it is really so good, I will say yeah, it is nice. So I feel maybe I need to change. Maybe I am little rigid in that part. So it is really good when a person is appreciated, that person also feels good, and we also should be in that position. So there I am trying to improve myself. Okay, not be so rigid. Learn to appreciate more. And when you appreciate, not keep in the mind, express it. That is another thing. So there a lot of things get set. Yeah, and other things. Then somebody will think of the past, that day you said this to me and that. So earlier I used to analyze, okay, what happened? Why did it happen and all. But then over the period, I realized that it doesn't really solve the problem, the issue. It doesn't really settle it when we just try to defend ourselves or explain or anything. If we really have some good explanation, we should give. Otherwise, after a brief explanation, I learned to accept. Okay, maybe it was wrong on my part. I'm sorry. So, with this, what I observed is when I say sorry, the other person is happy with it, satisfied, calm down. Not rather than happy and satisfied, the other person calms down immediately. Then they start thinking, okay, uh, this is what the explanation was given. Maybe that is true. Maybe it could have happened. Maybe I am unnecessary, putting all these allegations. So these are things. Then the fourth emotion comes is about our own selves. Many times, what happens is uh, we go through many situations. Sometimes we are in a situation where we are not successful, where we are not meeting our own expectations. At such times, we happen to create things where we try to seek the sympathy from others. So I have recognized this phase also, that we try to dig something and draw attention to that rather than ourselves. We feel okay, look at this, because otherwise there's nothing else for me to show to somebody. So I have recognized this aspect also, that there was a phase maybe I was doing this, and now that I recognize that, I just totally rule out that no, there is no sympathy. It is, and also I understand this. It is a test. Everybody is given a different examination paper. As per everybody's life is different, and nobody can have the same test paper. Everybody will have different questions. So the question which is in my part, in my question, my test, my set, I have to deal with it. I should not look at it as a problem. This is a test for me, and I should know how to deal with it. And sometimes when I don't know how to deal with it, I just ask the universe, you have to guide me to deal with this. Yeah. So this is how I manage. uh, yeah.
Anita
Thank you,
ma'am,
Rolly ma'am.
lovely. Love
Uh,
you so much. Thank you so much. You wrote beautiful
Thank
points.
you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. Yeah, masters, would love to listen more. Please, please do share. How are you dealing with your everyday emotions? Where are you stuck? Are we even recognizing what kind of emotions are we going through? Okay. So yeah. Yeah, Upendra sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ravli ma'am. It's interesting topic about emotions.
Upendra sir, I wanted to say I love you. Every session, you always respond. Thank you for that.
No, I was wanted to make sure other people have a chance, so I didn't want to. No, when you get to my age, I think you have seen pretty much many things, and you have to deal with spousal anger. My wife is she's a Latina, so she's very jealous, and sometimes I have I talk nice to all the people, and I don't discriminate based on the gender. I talk to the people, and wife gets upset about that. She used to really get upset. Oh, doing this, doing that is not good, and all the stuff. So it took a while for me to explain to her, look, I don't see the difference. I see the friendship in respect to the gender, and I don't have any bad motivations. And so I just wanted to have that friendship. I think that's what it is not easy. I think so. But when you're dealing with emotions, not only your emotions, you have to be very conscious about other people's emotions. One thing you want to make sure you don't hurt other people's feelings. So that's why you have to be true to yourself. You have to be honest about your feelings, but at the same time you have to be sensitive to people. The people, maybe not everybody as emotionally mature as you are. So you need to be paying attention to other people's emotions. I think that's what I learned over a period of time, that I could be very happy, but in a situation other people are not happy, I should suppress to some extent and try to cheer them and try to find something that they could be doing better, or something they could be looking at things differently. I think that is it's like a communal thinking, rather than when you selfish thinking. People, let's say I win something, or then I get so excited, and then I start jump up and down. But somebody may not have the same success, and it feels like it's like rubbing on them. And so I think emotional maturity is not only dealing with your emotions, but also be cognizant and pay attention to other people's emotions. And so having that balance, I think that is what the most important thing. Now, emotions we face, basically anger. Sometimes you want to tell people that sometimes being an engineer, being a lot of experience, I'm very efficient in what I do, but I cannot expect the same level of efficiency from others, because they may not have the same background, they may not have the same experience. So I need to develop patience in dealing with people that. And then on other thing is that sometimes people tend to talk very slowly. Their ideas, they're trying to put it together, and I can speak without a lot of thinking because I'm trained to do that, and so I have to make sure I don't speak for other people. I think that's a very important thing. People big mistake when they're impatient, they start telling that what other person wants to say, and that is very offensive to the person. And some people might think that you are patronizing them. And so that is one thing. Anger, of course, the things don't go your way, you start getting angry, and you take it on people who are near and dear to you rather than doing that introspection. What has caused? What is the learning? What caused it? And analysis. I think that's the thing. And joy, of course, that's an emotion. Your happiness. You are so happy that you forget about other people. And sadness, when bad things go, and you also uh, feel. But not only sadness, you have to share other people's sadness. I think that's very important. A lot of us we try to shut our mind to other people's uh, sadness sometimes. We may say things, oh, I'm sorry, I pray for you, but you have to really mean what you say. Otherwise, it doesn't have any meaning. I hope I spoke too much, too long.
Oh, it's wonderful, sir. Amazingly said. Yeah, Ashok, sir.
I see Ashok has come back, I think.
Thank you.
The anchor
Good.
behind everything.
Thank
We
you.
missed you, Ashok. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. I'm on a vacation and came back. I wanted to say one thing which I observed and within myself, and which I am practicing very lately, is expectations with relationships. So that is one thing which I observed, which has caused so much of an havoc in my life. So for every relationship that what I had, starting with my mother, my father, and then my friends, my teachers, and then my spouse and my kids, yes, and the rest of all the other relationships. So every relationship that we are going to, and we are just managing and maintaining in ourselves some expectations from the other people. So with that expectation, then we are limiting ourselves. And also, if we wanted to communicate something, then we could not able to communicate, as Ravali Madam mentioned in one of the things that we have to speak out, and that communication is very, very important to expel your way of thinking and thought process. So if I take an example of father and son, so if I say something, and if I'm expecting for that particular thing to be done by my kid, if he is not able to do that, but that is his style, and that is his living, and that is what he wants to do. But if I'm expecting something from him, then that expectation is ruining the whole relationship. So rather than having that expectations, if we take that expectations out of whatever you wanted to communicate and just let it go. Once you are done, then let it go. So however the other person is going to take it and how they are going to do it, that is up to them. And if you wanted to communicate, and before you say something, then you need to point to yourself whether you are doing it or not. Because beautifully said, I think Srini sir has posted, or somebody posted, when you are saying no to the other person, then you are supposed to not to say yes to yourself. When you are saying yes to the other person, you are not supposed to say to your internal self. So these are all the things which is actually going to be very, very powerful for us to look into, to build the relationships. And that is one of the things which I sensed when I started working with that. Then I see a beautiful relationship binding, building, and all of that stuff, and the happiness, joy, everything, whatever you say in the world towards that, then I'm experiencing those. So lately, that is what I recognize, where I'm limiting myself. So that's where one of the biggest thing that which I am working on. And very recently, from the last maybe 1 month or so, or 2 months maybe, close to. So then I'm really joyful to myself. And I'm not even looking at what other people are looking at me, but that is not my job, because what I am looking at is whether I'm happy or not, whether I'm doing it right or wrong. Okay, so for every situation, what I'm doing, I wanted to be in my present state and look into that particular situation and analyze that. If there is something that if I wanted to make a correction, so make the correction and move on, make a correction and move on, but don't worry about it. Past is past, done is done. Just let it go and take it easy and move forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok sir, Upendra sir, both wonderful points. Thank you so much. Yeah, masters, please do share. Love to listen. Gives us a perspective on looking at things. Anyone would love to share how they're dealing with their everyday emotions? Yeah, Vindhya ma'am.
Lovely, ma'am. Sorry, I know I'm going again, but after Ashok sir said, it was very similar to that I wanted.
Oh, sorry, Vindhya ma'am, you are sharing will enhance our.
No, I am like that. I feel like talking, then there are other people who need to talk. And
No.
Try to wait.
We have enough time to listen to each other.
So yeah, I wanted to say the same thing about relationships, similar emotional stability in relationships. And from my own experience, though I think I'm learning it the harder way because I haven't done it before, what I realized is, in order to have, like how Ashok sir said, we have to express ourselves in our relationships. In order to be able to express and communicate properly, first you need to have a good sound relation, like, a trust. There should be trust in a relationship. There should be love. And once you build that and communication, then after that, then you don't have these emotional turmoil, what may happen, what may not happen. And I'll give you my own example. It happened like just a week back or so. My younger son just moved to Denver. He was moving. He got a job and he's moving. So just before going, he accidentally, my car he took and he hit it on the other side by mistake. He just rubbed it across some pole. So as soon as I saw it, I didn't want to be, because I'm in meditation, I didn't want to get agitated, but I could see, like, oh my, it's a damage and we have to fix. So, but I could also realize he is fine and nobody else is hurt. So I'm trying to balance, my husband wasn't at home. So I tried to tell myself everything is okay, but I'm still learning. So my face was still showing some emotions. And he was upset, but I mean, he was feeling bad about it, but he couldn't do anything. So he just said sorry. And then the situation was like, what will my husband say? And all those things were going in my head. And I don't know, I should have been present at the moment. But what I was trying to say, when my husband came back, immediately he saw that, and he was up, he showed his up, and like, and he just told my son, like, you should have been more careful. How could you have not seen that? And it'll cause this and that. And I am trying to say, no, he's going to leave tomorrow. He's going to start his new job. I don't want him to go with a negative thought. So I'm trying to stop. But afterwards I realized, and so I couldn't even tell him what I wanted to really say. And then I realized all this was because of my fear that my son may feel upset with us or something like that. So I didn't really build a good relationship, good basis, where I could just freely say. Whereas my husband knew, like, once he says, after that, he wasn't thinking about it much. And he said it, he wanted to get the message out, and that's all. So I have a lot to learn from him, I guess. But what I'm trying to say is I was more emotional, and the emotional part, I think, came because I'm not able to, just like how Ashok sir also said, right? If you're inside feeling something and you're trying to say something else outside, it doesn't work. Your body emotions will show. So I have to work a lot on that. I don't know if I'm clear on what I'm trying to say, but I
Yeah,
felt,
but
having a good, strong communication path is important in relationship, and that'll help us in our emotional balance too. Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you, Vinyaman, for that sharing. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, masters. Anyone, any sharing? And I've been recently observing nowadays, with situations, if you're not feeling stress, or if you're not showing that particular anxiety or something, people are so used to this kind of situations in a day-to-day life. Sometimes it surprises people that how is she like that? Or you should get stressed. If you're not stressed, then you're not with the sync with the life or something like that. So people are so used to that kind of lifestyle, that kind of looking. We are so used to living with our everyday lower emotions that we are not ready to live a life with this elevated emotions. We are not ready to live a life with love, compassion. It becomes so jolted for us. But if we accept and start living that, the people around our surrounding us, they get surprised. Something's wrong with this person, or something's wrong. How can they be like that? So it's very surprising that the society is like that right now, that we are not even aware that we are living with those lower emotions, and we're just getting used to living like that. That everyday stress is necessary for us. Otherwise, we don't know how to live life. That's the situation that we are living right now. Yeah. Any sharing, masters, please do. I want you all to speak out on this particular topic. It's very, very important that how we are dealing with our everyday emotions. And it also looks like, we always become readily available for other person. We say that I'm available for my kids, Vishal sir, please do speak.
Sir, unmute yourself, Vishal sir.
Yeah, I'm right on you. Yes, I'm a cancer patient, and I work in an office in TCS.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
yes, people say a lot of things which gets me upset all the time. Not one day or 2 days. So I've done a lot of courses on the landmark and all that. It helps me in dealing with it. But then it is they do it intentionally to hurt you.
Mm.
Yes. So I keep my calm and composure, but then it upsets me, and I hold a grudge also. So
Okay.
it's very difficult to leave that.
Okay. So how are you dealing with it, Vishal sir?
Just keep your calmness. That's it, and
Yeah.
see whether you are running a racket with them, or are they running a racket with them with me, or whatever be it. I'm
Mm.
not.
Mm.
I'm very much aware that way.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Vishal sir, I just wanted to comment, not the comment, but I just wanted to tell you to observe the judgment part, because how much in that particular situations you are judging about the other people. Just check yourself and see that whether you can eliminate that part, and that may ease up a lot of things, because that is what I used to do. And when I started taking that quotient, that parameter out of my things, then that eliminated a lot of things, sir. Because that's what we judge people, and we assume things, and there are certain things which, as Rowley Madam just earlier mentioned, that the majority of the times the assumptions are not going to be true unless and until we truly feel them and look at them in the other side. So maybe just check, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Ashok sir. Yeah. Beautiful visual, sir. Beautifully said what you're going through. Yeah. Masters, any suggestions or anything, please speak up. Krishna sir.
Unmute, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I am Krishnathan from Kerala. I want to tell one thing, and thank you, Ashok sir, for this wonderful session. Actually, we will be on stress most probably, but especially in my case, my younger daughter, she was studying, and she used to tell. Nowadays, she used to tell, I am having very much stress, very much stress. Then I go through one lesson, one teaching of my one Sadhguru. Then he told, when we are having the stress or tension, whenever we are opposing it, it will come and it will be concrete. It will be, it means it will not go. So if we had to reduce it, we have to accept it, because when that feeling, that emotion is having, we are having, that we have to accept it through our anapanasati. That means when we are inhaling, we have to accept it, and when we are exhaling, you have to just, it's okay, it's okay. And you have to accept it, but yeah, okay. Then it is something, it is reducing into some extent. That's what I want to tell. And it is coming due to our fear, whether our relationships, our possessions, whether it will go tomorrow. That is due to our attachment. When we are increasing our love, that is unconditional love, then only this fear will get rid of. For that, you have to enhance our moha. That's what I want to tell. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Krishna sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Masters, any more sharing on this topic? Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay, then that's a beautiful sharing. Thank you to each and every one. It gives a perspective and understanding on how you dealt with it, and it will also help us to look into. We can't have 360-degree understanding to everything. So this sharing is very, very important, because it gives an perspective, and also it will help us to give one or two cents of our understanding to another person if they are going through some kind of things. Thank you everyone for today's discussion. As I said, meditate a lot and practice on your emotions. This is what I understood. Sometimes, not sometimes, majority of times our emotions are more powerful. They are become much bigger than ourselves. But we need to understand that it is we who are producing that emotion. So we need to take complete control of them. So first we need to understand our stressors, understand what emotions we are going through, and then we'll know where to work first and how to work. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll go into meditation. Just drink some water, relax your physical body. Sit in the most comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take some back rest if you want. Interlock your fingers, crisscross your legs. Take a couple of deep inhalations, just relax. We had a beautiful discussion. So a lot of emotions might be surfaced. So let's release them. Take a deep inhalation, expand your lungs. Slowly, slowly exhale. One more deep inhalation. Expand your lungs. And slowly exhale. One more deep inhalation. And exhale. We're doing Anapanasati meditation. Ana means observing your in breath, observing your out breath, and just being with your breath. Breath is the whole essence here, Master. Just journey with your breath. Your mind might be wandering to places. No problem. Whenever you get aware that you are no more observing your breath, just come back and start observing your breath. Meditation is a process of enhancing self-love. You connect with your true inner self. Build up that connection every day by doing a couple of hours of meditation every day. Just observe your breath and be with your breath. Masters, just bring back the awareness onto your physical body. Just feel the space around you. Feel your physical body. Feel the sensations. Feel your hands, feel your legs. Masters, let us express beautiful, powerful emotion of gratitude. Express gratitude to this moment, to this time where you could get together, sit together, meditate together, and discuss upon this beautiful topic today. Express your gratitude to each and every person who has shared their experience today, enhanced our knowledge. Express your gratitude to this process of meditation, to the breath. Express your gratitude to yourself. Hug yourself, love yourself. Meditation, to participate in these discussions, to learn, to work on yourself. So thank yourself. Express your gratitude to this wonderful creation, your parents, your loved ones. Life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. So be thankful for who you are, what's in your life, instead of complaining about what you don't have. Express your gratitude to this wonderful life that you get to live every day, the various experiences that you get to have through people around you. You thank you and just feel that emotion of gratitude. Whenever you're ready, Masters, just rub your fingers together, take 5 seconds, put your hands onto your eyes and slowly, comfortably open your eyes. Thank you, Masters, for this beautiful day, giving me an opportunity to discuss the session today. Thank you for your wonderful sharing. And see you all tomorrow again. Thank you, Masters.